welcome back to another exciting episode of What You Know It, the Iconist podcast. First and foremost, thank you for tuning in. And remember, like, subscribe, share, rate, and review. Please don't let the show be a secret. We're growing. We've over 100 episodes. We're growing. And it's still weekly. We haven't, put it in yet, given up yet. We're here. On that note, as one of you know, I'm one of your hosts, Barry 3D, and we all know the joke. We know the joke. Hey! And you can find all my links and everywhere I'm going to be at barry3d.com. So it's Barry, BARRY3D.com. Check out my tour date, see where I'm going to be, all live events, and what else I'm doing online. I got to still, I'm always updating the tours. I got to put some more stuff in the blogs, but things are coming. Big things coming, or big for me. So milestones for me. So I'm very happy about that. As always, I do this show with the man, the myth, the legend, the one and only who has the turbos rocking on a Wednesday and other days and nights, day and night. Okay, I'm not going to sing, but, my best friend, my cousin, the one and only
DJ Rod C. Good day, good afternoon, good after morning, wherever you may be. Yes, welcome to another episode of Iconist. The icon is... No, I'm not going to say, because, that's my spiel. He's the ta-da guy, and like, aha! I'm the best, what I am. Anyway, let's not get into that. Let's not get into that right now. Ladies and gentlemen, we're here to have some fun. But, as we always say, there is some little in-house keeping that we must do. Yes.
Salute-ly. First and foremost, you got to support the books because the books are what gives us our topic to talk about. And if you want to go and get those books, you got to hit two places for sure. So if you're out in Kitchener, please head over to Wow Comics and tell Wes and the boys we said hi. And also for our friends and fans and whoever in Montreal, head on over to Chex Wings on the South Shore. Tell Trevor and the rest of the guys we said hi because, manners maketh the man. On top of that, we got to do a shout out to Brandy Ford for The Writer and the Witch. She's got her magazine coming out every month, and you can always catch her on the radio station. So you got to look out her links. She's out there. She's actually, 3 times a week now. She's doing her show, and she's just off the rails. So yeah, we're going to be on that show soon enough, coming up in the near future. Also, me and the boys. Right? So that's me, Barry 3D Carter, along with Dave Sokolowski and Zulf Ali. Check it out. It's a touch of gray matter. We've got some videos. We are getting back and we're doing our live events. We have 2 books so far, a lot more coming. And we always have special guests on our shows. And we do a lot of them as fundraisers. So please come out and support. Now, the man that makes us look so pretty. The man that makes it look so we're not just a black screen and nothing on there that kind of catches the eye. And the one who put our logo together and worked with us so well. And if you care about your product, he'll work with you too. The one and only, who am I talking about, Rod?
J Bird Digital Art.
J Bird Digital Arts. Reach out to our boy Jason Reese. You tell him you heard about him on the Iconist podcast, and he'll give you a discount. There you go. So thank you very much, Jay, for all you do. And hey, if you haven't seen, he's made some new templates for me. Check out our YouTube shorts on the Iconist podcast on our website, YouTube page, and you'll see them in there, me as a Mountie, and of course, me finally getting Battle Chasers issue number 10. Well, it was back on June 14th, but got it after 22 years. Come on, Joe. He actually liked that, and Joe actually wished me a happy birthday. He saw me doing my hunt for it, so that was a blessing moment. That's awesome.
Nice.
Also, if you think you can do what we do, that's fine. There's more than enough room for everybody. And if you want to know where you want to do your podcast, then you got to go and check out a hosting site. And the one we use is podbean.com. Check out podbean.com. They got great deals and they make it really easy. Even I was able to get our show on there. So if I can do it, you can do it. And everyone has a voice. And it's a lot of fun to be podcasting. It's such a great world to be a part of. Sweet Carolina. Rod, where can we find you and what's going on?
Ladies and gentlemen, you can find me on the World Wide Web. You can find me on Instagram at Mr. Rod C. That's MRRODC. You can also find me on the Twitch, twitch.com/DJ Rod C. But you also can find me on the Tick and the Talk. The Tick and the Talk as DJ Rod C1. But I'm the number 1. That's what you gotta remember. One. That's where you can find me. And that's it. Listen, I'm always around. Have fun. Make sure you shout me out. I'll shout you back. Listen, follow me, I'll follow you. You know, that kind of vibe. Now, let's have some fun. Let's have some fun.
Let's
Let's
have
go.
some fun indeed. Now, this one is special because one, Ron's a DJ. Two, I'm a dancer, right? Forget he's a DJ and I'm a rapper. It's more like he's a DJ and I'm the dancer. There we go. He's a DJ and I'm the dancer. We're both jokers and we podcast. Here we go. And today's episode on the Iconist podcast, the icon is Dazzler. Wow.
Dazzler?
Dazzler.
Who's
by
that?
Marvel Comics.
That's
Yeah. Why is this making importance with, Rod being a DJ and me being a dancer? Well, Dazzler came out in 1980. Am I right or wrong? Yes, I am. February of 1980, she came out in Black History Month, One Nation, keep it real. And her first appearance was in X-Men issue 130. Now, I knew Dazzler, but I didn't know Dazzler. But we all gonna know Dazzler today. Right? And Dazzler was created by Tom DeFalco and John Romita Jr. Condolences to John Romita Sr. He just recently passed away, and he has such great art and storylines that he's put together for years, and his son is definitely continuing that, following in Dad's footsteps. Well, not he just started recently, but the two of them, awesome. So, we lost another one, but, his work stands on, and that's the beauty of it, that he shared that with us, so we have to really shout that out. So, going back, this is what this character came out to be. Now, when we see Dazzler, she made her first appearance, I said, in X-Men issue 130, which was awesome. And it was monumental because you realize, let's go back a little bit. Dazzler had AKA Alison Blair, so she's appeared in of course, I said the X-Men, that was her first thing, but she's appeared in also the Amazing Spider-Man. She's appeared in other books, and they never really knew what to do with her. It seemed like she was a little bit, one way, another way, and it's not anyone's fault. They just didn't know.
Yep.
Because the character, the concept for Dazzler came about in maybe 1979. Burn, baby, burn, Disco Inferno. She came out during the disco era. That's where she was born. And at the time, Marvel was trying to make a lot of characters. Well, not a lot, but they wanted to come up with new characters that fit what was going on. So, last week we talked about Rocket Racer.
Yep.
Who I should have said would be Cosmic Racer. Oh, and, but far-fetched, but double back, you'll see what points. Dazzler came out once again in that genre, in the disco era genre. So we had Nightcat, which was another Marvel property, and they had like a character, live action, to do music, and it was based off a real person, but it had someone else doing the singing. Dazzler was the tail end of that, to catch the disco era. I mean, people look at disco now, and for who knows disco. And disco was huge. Disco was so huge. I mean, it had its moments where the singers were, they're up to now, you still know them. You hear them at weddings, you hear them at bar mitzvahs, you hear them at parties. Old school, they'll throw in a disco song here and there and get remixed. But it was at one point, it was outselling every other genre. If you were in disco, you were making a mint, not even money. You were making a mint. Then the fad died because of a radio DJ, and then of course they got oversaturated. And then the DJ, in the States kind of put on a disco burning party, and everyone's like, disco sucks. And this is where that whole movement came out. And that's like, all right, why you hating? He only got famous over being shock value. So that's all I'm going to say about him. Thanks, dude. I like my disco. I like all music. And so Marvel wanted to capture on that. They came up with Dazzler. Now, the interesting thing is when you see Alison Blair, Dazzler, she's a white woman, she's got like red hair, sometimes it's blonde, strawberry blonde, so they draw her different colors, and I'm fine with that. Okay, woman, change your hair, it's all good. She's got a lot of hair. She wears a white one piece, right? So it's like open shoulders, high collar, V-neck, one piece with sparkly shoes. Like, when you see those disco balls, right? The shoes are made out of that.
Think of the Michael Jackson gloves.
Yes,
in footwear. It's a sequence.
In footwear. Exactly. And of course, being disco, she always had some roller skates that she was wheels, and she's able to slap onto the bottom of the shoes, and she would get out there and sing and dance, and that was her whole genre when she first came out. Burn, baby, burn. It's going inferno. I was made for loving you, baby. I know I can't sing, but I do it anyways. I enjoy it. I'm happy. All right. So this is who Dazzler was around that time. Now, here's what's really interesting about Dazzler. As I said, I mentioned she was a Caucasian woman, strawberry blonde hair, red hair, how you want to see it, the outfit. And, she had like blue makeup around the eyes, right? Very Kiss, like, Gene Simmons, Paul Stanley, Ace Frehley, Peter Criss kind of thing going on. And it fit. At the time, you're like, oh, got it. And
it makes sense.
If the book was released maybe 5 years earlier in the peak of disco, this character really would have stapled it home for me.
100%.
Also,
100%.
100% for sure. Now, as I said, let me get back to the original thing. She's Caucasian now, but the original version of this character was pitched and drawn as a black woman. Okay. Based off of Grace Jones. That was her original look. They drew her like Grace Jones in the costume, and she had different names. She had like Disco Queen, and there's other working names. But they found, and then it was Disco Dazzler. Then they said, well, just drop the disco. Let's keep Dazzler, and they went with that. Okay, but it was drawn as Grace Jones, and then going back and forth. Listen, let me get straight. Nothing dealing with racism. It was just creative ideas. They turned around and made her white for this reason. So it was Marvel in collaboration with Casablanca Records. This record company, the CEO, he says he came up with the idea. Jim Sterling said he came up with the idea. So we don't know from who came up with the idea of Dazzler first. I think maybe it's sometimes you get past both stories, you might get the center of it, right? So you come in from the left, you come in from the right, you get there, you get down to the center, so I think it's a bit of truth. I think Marvel wanted to capitalize on the disco era. They've done it before. If we look at Rocket Racer, he went into a genre. If you look at certain superheroes when they're created, like Tigers of the Dragon, who we talked about. Tigers, Sons of the Tiger, who we talked about. Daughters of the Dragon, they were created for that, Bruce Lee martial arts phase.
Right.
They're going to capture, Black Panther was really for the Black Panther and during that kind of movement. And the X-Men spoke on racial unrest at the time, when they were first out. Okay. And that's how they're supposed to be seen. So Marvel always takes what's hot in pop culture.
Pop culture, what movements is happening at the time. And they kind of lean into it to say, this is the fad that's going on right now, or this is the pulse of the nation that's going on right now. What can we pull from that into here? And it's funny you say that, because I was just looking at, by the time this comes out, I was just watching shout out to Kevin Smith, Fat Man Beyond, and there was a little conversation and during his show how who started what? Was it Stan Lee on a particular conversation? Stan Lee with Jack Kirby, like who started what kind of scenario? Right. And the scenario is why I'm pulling that in is at this particular point, it's like, did Marvel start the conversation or did Casablanca Records start the conversation? And reality, sometimes you could be like one person say, hey, I have an idea for something. And you know what do you think? Now, at that point, was it the person who started the conversation or was it the person who ended the conversation per se with a helpful idea who started what? So, but as Barry would say, we weren't there, so we can't say. But if we're going to at least take the footnotes of what Marvel has done, what has been their MO as of up to that point, what has been the MO of Marvel, they would lean into what is hot, what's the movement, what's the pulse of the nation at that time, and try to capitalize on that. Disco is now, again, at the height of it, kind of not coming down, but is at the height of it. Let's work on making an IP that's related, that has, can draw in any of the young viewers, the young readers, who are into disco. We can capitalize on that part of the capital vein. That's what Marvel would do. So, who did it first? Marvel, Casablanca Records, I don't know, but the track record, could say you
Let's
could
just
say
say.
allegedly you can say from that angle. Let's just make it all political before someone comes after us. But that's what I'm just saying. I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
So what
I'm
you
just
saying?
saying. I don't know.
EPMD. There we go. All right. Uh, so let's go back before we jump further into the character. Let's talk a little bit more. I believe about Casablanca Records, so everyone understands. So Casablanca Records was around for a while. They did kind of go belly up, unfortunately. So they were founded in June 19th, 1973. Wow, June 19th. Gemini. And I know this episode is old, but June 19th is also my boy Sean's birthday. So, Sean, once again, shout you out, Mr. Blades. There we go. June 19th. Yeah. And it was founded by Neil Bogart, Larry Harris, Cecil Holmes, and Buck Reingold. And now Bogart is the main person that was working along on his side about wanting that. So he might have saw the potential in what was happening in Marvel, some kind of pulp media, and wanted to expand. And that's who was kind of saying, hey, kind of cool if we have someone there, like a character like that, maybe put him in media. And the plan was to make Dazzler. Started off as Grace Jones. They changed it, the character from, black to white. And then they were giving the character a live action series or a live action movie or episode, like a TV series, like a TV movie. There we go. Live action with Alison Blair to come out there being the Dazzler. At this point, though, the company started kind of hitting some financial trouble, so they couldn't really go through with what their full plan was. Disco was on the tail end, so things just weren't working. It was like, right idea, wrong time, so to speak. Once again, if it was 5 years earlier, might have had a chance. So I figure it was 1975, 76. They might have had a better chance, and we would have probably heard about her in a different light. That being said, so Neil's behind this on that side, James Sterling on the Marvel side, and just to let you know, the bands that they had underneath them was very interesting. So who was signed to Casablanca Records? Well, there was Kiss, who we just mentioned. So that's Gene Simmons, Paul Stanley, Ace Frehley, and Peter Criss, the original 4 members before they all started doing the infighting and split, and only 2 show up on tour, and they got other 2 fill in. So yes, the original 4 members of Kiss. I Was Made for Loving You, Detroit Rock City. That's what we're talking about. Also, Donna Summer. Donna Summer was another person that was under the Casablanca label that was signed. And she was, once again, a disco diva herself. So you got Kiss, you got, Donna Summer.
Got Cher.
Cher. That's right. Sonny and Cher. Cher, exactly that Cher. That was going out with, what's her name's ex-boyfriend there? Amber Rose's ex-boyfriend. Now they split up. That was a weird pairing, but Cher still, go on, Cher. You do you. And then this is one that blows my mind. Parliament. Bow wow wow yippee yo yippee yay bow wow yippee yo yippee yay. Atomic dog. So George Clinton Parliament. Now Parliament was multiple divisions in there. So it was Parliament Mothership. So they had them. So that's George Clinton, Bootsy Collins. Yep. The whole P-Funk era was under Casablanca Records. Now, when this episode is over, do yourself a favor. Go on YouTube and look up Parliament, or watch Tales from the Tour Bus by Mike Judge, the same guy who does King of the Hill. And when we talked about King of the Hill, when we talked about Monsignor Martinez, that Mike Judge, he has a show, 2 seasons. It's called Tales from the Tour Bus. Season 1's about country music. Season 2, all about funk music. And they do a 2-part episode on George Clinton because of his influence. So it's like George Clinton, then you see Bootsy Collins. Really informative. You'll see what we're talking about. And if you YouTube some of their live shows, wow. Atomic Dog is still my thing. Atomic Dog and Flashlight. Yeah, okay. So this is the influencer coming with, bringing it down over to a pulp character, which is Dazzler. And that's where they wanted to blend. So looking at Casablanca right now, they do have a strong, between Cher, Donna Summer, Kiss, and Parliament, they got a wide range of collective music from different genres that they could have kind of steered this character to, or maybe a blend of. And somewhat Lindsay Lohan kind of signed under a Casablanca thing like later on. It was like someone else, Tommy Mottola, but part of that, yeah, the actress Lindsay Lohan, who's now, right. Okay. If you know Lindsay, she had a song called Rumors. Look at her song Rumors. That song was funky. I wish she did more like that. Be it if you like it or not, I liked it. So this is Alison Blair. That's how she comes out. And she comes out, and her first series, the original series, ran for 45 issues, I think it is. 42 issues. The original run. And then, of course, it was a 4-issue miniseries. It was called Dazzler, the movie. So, getting ahead of myself. So, she's born to her parents, obviously. Her mom ends up leaving. Her dad never tells her more about the mom. The dad really never talks about the mom. The dad's always, Alison's mom, is gone out of the picture. Dad doesn't say much about her. She ended up leaving because she got drawn into the other life. I guess she wanted to go into showbiz herself. She got attracted with other men, drugs, blah, blah, blah. So Alison's father is raising her, single dad, doing what he's got to do. He sees that his daughter has a talent. At one point later, early on, she wants to sing. And he's like getting flashbacks of his ex, thinking he doesn't want Alison to go down the same road. So he really pushes the school aspect of that. I get that, because as every parent, you want your child to dream, you want your child to chase their dreams, but you also want to make sure your child has a foundation, because we know show business is a tough business. So he pushed for her to at least have something to fall back on. That makes 100% sense to me on any side of the spectrum. Even though I'm in show business myself, it does make sense. I get it. So the long story is, Alison from young, he pushed her to study. She's in school. She graduates as a lawyer. But she always had singing in the back of her mind. So she would sing at talent shows, sing here, not really let her dad know, but she has a voice. Like, everyone would hear her sing and go, oh, this child's got chops. And that's where her passion was. But to keep her dad happy, she had to kind of do that. So where it comes down to is finally, she goes on her journey. Sorry, and I'm looking at here, the Archies. I forgot that one, the Archies. That was another major influence. So let me sidetrack for half a second here. You have the Archies, like the Archie cartoon. So that's, Archie Andrews, Jughead, Reggie. And they had that song, Sugar, da, da, na, 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 oh, honey, honey. Yeah, there we go. You can get the remix by Baby Bash. That was really good. Okay, so we talking music, man. I'm excited.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. So Alison goes to school. Mom's gone. Turns around. Alison now says, all right, doing the music thing. She goes for a talent show. And when she goes for a talent show, she starts singing. Now, her powers are, I would say, transmutation. She transmutes vibrations and sound. So sound or any vibration into light. So when, a car driving by in the street, any background noise, it doesn't have to be a specific noise. But of course, when she's singing, that is seen as noise. And her power came about when she was doing one of these teenage shows, and a lot of lights started flashing, and people who were watching going, oh, wow, this is amazing.
Great light show. That's a lot of money to put into that. Yeah. No, that is within her.
That's within her. They didn't realize. I thought it was a light show that was happening, that maybe she set up, her in the band, but that was really her that was putting out those lights. Now, at the time, it was just lights going out. Not much to think about it. And so you realize, okay, guess what? She hit puberty. Lights are about her. Oh, she's a mutant. Ba, ba, ba. She kind of puts it away. She doesn't really dive in to see how strong of a mutant she is.
Right.
But she's tougher than you think. You know what I mean? Like, there's a Scotiabank, you're richer than you think. Yeah, she's tougher than you think. So you would see her in a costume in white roller skates, disco, and you're like, oh, okay, she does lights, not realizing the extent of her powers. So here's where we go. She gets in, goes through school, graduates, becomes a lawyer, and then decides to, and at the time, she kind of did music here and there. She is aware that she is a mutant. She never told anybody. Everyone thinks the light show that happened the first time, or every time she sings, the light show happens. She turns around and tells people, "Oh yeah, it's I put together a special light show." And then, how'd you do it? She's like, "It's my secret." Because now she's using that as a selling point. But she can sing, so it's not just a gimmick with her. She can really, really sing. So she decides when she graduates that she's going to follow music. She's like, "That's it, Dad, I'm doing music. Case closed." But don't want Dad to know, so to speak. So I got to come up with a name, Dazzler. And she's going around nightclubs. She's touring around the New York scene doing that. Once again, that story makes a lot of sense to me so far. It's nothing far-fetched because that's pretty much the beginning origins of Lady Gaga. She went around the New York scene, underground clubs, and she was doing a lot of singing in these clubs. She came up to Montreal, and she was even at Montreal one time just hanging out and very into the rap scene. Even though she didn't perform, she would go up there and see rap artists at one club there in Montreal on St. Catherine Street called Foufoune Electrique. So if you know about Foufoune Electrique, or she was there. This is before she was Lady Gaga. You don't know, now you know. So all this is very based in reality. It makes the character very tangible. That's the word I'm looking for. It makes the character very tangible. Alison gets out there, and then she shows up in that first issue of X-Men. Now, when she was in X-Men, when she was in Spider-Man, and I can't remember the other book she was in, they always depicted her powers different ways. One point, her lasers come out of her eyes, and then at times it's coming out of her hands. They didn't know. And when she was in X-Men issue 130, they made her very street smart, which I wouldn't be surprised by. I'm never saying, and then other times made it a little bit more naive. I personally like the street smart Alison Blair. Right. Yep. Logically, it makes sense, right? You're smart. You're a lawyer. You're in show business. You have to be street smart to understand sometimes how to get past some of the shady deals and not get caught up in the situation. And I said, you're in New York, going around the New York nightclub. So you're going to meet shady people. You got to be street smart to know, when to stay away, when to stay, when to go. So you got to be very aware.
Yeah, not to be taken advantage. That's basically
exactly
having an understanding.
Exactly. So when she comes in, she's part of that storyline where, let's say the Dark Phoenix arc. Jean Grey, Dark Phoenix arc is when Alison makes her appearance in X-Men issue 130, and you can even see her in the Phoenix Saga if you have Disney Plus or you own the original X-Men cartoon. She's in that part where Scott leaves, goes to a bar with Gambit, and they see her in the distance, and she's getting harassed by some members, and you realize they're members of the Hellfire Club because they know she's a mutant.
Right.
Okay. So that's the beginning story arc of Alison. A lot of meat on the bone. You got, she comes from a broken home, not much about her mom. That means mom's not dead. Mom's just out there. That's a pin in it subplot. Here we go. She's a mutant. She's got to have, if she's in high school, just like a teenage girl, she's going to be in high school. You're singing, you're going to be popular. You're not going to be a loner in a corner, not talking to anybody. She has a friend group. She starts a band. She goes into the music industry and does get signed in the music industry to make records. And now you have a real life record company that wants to push Dazzler as a product for the disco era, because when I say the disco era was huge, if you have a song called Disco Duck, the era is huge, okay? When a duck is doing disco, the era is huge and the record sold, okay? I know so because I own the 45. If you don't know what a 45 is, Google it after the show. You had 12 inches, you had 45. I know how it sounds. Google it after the show. All right. Rod, so what was your take on Dazzler just at the beginning here?
Listen, at the beginning, getting the intro of her life was great. Now, because we get an understanding that this is a person who is trying to get herself out of, I'll say, poverty.
Right.
She knows she's in a lifestyle that she knows that, she can do better. Realizing that she has a spark, like, okay, we even get to the street smart aspect. Let's just go that, for one, she's a talented individual. She realized that she has the ability to sing. So she, like you said, was she a popular kid? type of scenario, for someone to have the stage presence, to be able to have that outgoing type of ability to say, I'm going to be on stage and sing and have that type of vibration. This is a person who's an outgoing kid. This is an outgoing individual, right? So we're going to start with that. She's having this, say, street smarts, but realizing that her father realized that you have a good mind on you, a good head on your shoulders, and basically getting her to work, keep up with her schoolwork. So she's a smart kid to have the ability to be a lawyer. Again, listen, I just know there's a couple of phrases, paragraph this, injunction law and all that kind of stuff. I will be left, right, and center. I don't know where. And anybody I'm representing, we're gonna try to work this out together. I can't. I'm just telling you that right now. But she was able to hold her own and be able to become a lawyer. So that's just to show you that that Alison was not. She has the ability. She's not a pushover.
No,
she understood. She's not a pushover. So now we even dipping into what Barry was saying. Now she's the performer. She's going up there. She's winning, singing contests and stuff like that. Again, part of the story arc that, you don't see too much, but we could definitely dig into later on. When we start talking about fan casting and, getting a storyline for her. These are the sections that, could easily be nicely developed and we could dig into. But she's a lawyer. She's an entertainer. She understands the business aspect, the musical industry business aspect of it. And she should know how to technically put herself in the proper place. So yeah, I like her with that. Then we find out, she's a mutant. She has particular abilities. And again, her first type of, break, quote unquote, into her mutant power is just a light show. But once she started to realize that was coming out of her herself, she was smart enough. Again, street smarts, business smarts, industry smarts. I got to use it to my ability to, make a niche for myself, to market myself, to brand myself.
Right.
To go out and do that. Now I want to go back to the influence that, created her, Grace Jones. Now, when you look at Alison, Blair, you see Dazzler in the 1980s, original cut and copy and stuff like that. She basically, as Barry said, she's in a white, skin tight outfit, got the glitter boots and everything along the line. She also had her above her eyes, around the surface of her eyes, had makeup. The closest makeup rendition I would say for right now is basically thinking of Deadpool's, how his eyes are white, just without a mask.
Yeah.
That type of diamond shape on the eyes. That was basically what she was kind of like, descripted and displayed to be out. Yeah. Why I wanted to also bring that is because the reference that she was based off is Grace Jones. Grace Jones would be an individual who has made herself, she knew how to brand herself as an artist. Not only as a musical artist, because she was out of Casablanca, but she also went into movies and became an actress in that regard as well. But during the time she was a model, she was a runway model, and
because
getting herself
was it Moonraker, I think it was, with Roger Moore.
With Roger Moore, right? She also did Boomerang, was later on in life type of scenario with Eddie, but in those early days, she basically got her foot in the door for being, a model, being a singer, and that kind of rendition. But she branded herself having these outlandish type of, shock type of imagery that made people look like, oh, okay, I see what you're doing. I like it. I didn't expect that, but I like it. This is what Dazzler basically was portrayed. So when you see her on stage, she just knew to make herself presentable. They drew her in that type of presentable aspect of being an artist and getting a niche for herself. So yeah, I liked her with all like that. And again, understanding her powers, we didn't get to it later on, but she started to understand that basically sound and noise, vibration is what kind of manipulated and, as Barry said, translucent her to have, luminant type of powers at first. So those are the nice little key things. Things are different. And, I will say this before I switch back to Barry, that what I like as well as this is one mutant power that was very something that you couldn't really hide.
No.
You know what I mean? Like it's basically it's like Sunfire in that sense. Like you're like like the Human Torch in a sense. Like you're just full of flames. You can't hide that. This individual, for her to all sounds and vibration, she just turns into a walking light bulb. It's gonna be obvious where did all that just come from. Car drive by. She got the glow, and all of a sudden you're glowing. I can't even see. I need shade to see you.
The glow.
So, let your head glow. Anyway, we won't even
the last dragon, baby. He's got the glow.
No, I was going to Coming Back to America.
Yeah, I know you were right. Glow. So glow. I was going. I'm used to the glow.
Yeah. No, I realized where you're going with that one. But basically, it's different, and I liked it that basically you now have someone who has to control her in her power, but realizing her powers is something that is just very obvious that you're different. So having the ability that this character was able to write her power into a way that is like it's obvious it's me, but no one realizing that I'm actually have a mutant power. It's just part of my niche, part of my branding. That's what I liked about that. I've always thought that from years ago. It was like, it's quite interesting that this person can literally walk around like, oh, that glitter and glow. Like say, oh, you just went, who got the portable spotlight on her? Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Thank you very much. Thank you. I'll sign right here, Dazzler.
She bright, yeah, she bright.
She just bright. Unshaved. That's it.
Yeah.
Not realizing there's no portable spotlight on her. Interesting.
Well, exactly. And I'm very happy they went with the light powers because her original power set would have been, first of all, would have been based off of Grace Jones. And then the power set would have been her influences to make people tell the truth. Like she was supposed to be a walking lie detector or like Wonder Woman has her truth lasso. She was supposed to make people tell the truth. And it was, the Jim Shooter turned out and said, nah, I think that's kind of, it's kind of boring. We got to do something different. We can't really write stories about telling the truth. So,
all the second time.
Right, what's more, is more the light powers and putting her in a situation. So yes, absolutely. So that's where it comes into. Now, with her power set, her storyline, she's in a lot of major storylines. So in issue, I go back to this one, issue 130 of the X-Men, there was a lot going on. So that's the time Chris Claremont and John Bryan were, doing the book. So the storyline, art, excellent. Now keep in mind, that's the Phoenix Saga that's going on. So that's the beginning of the Phoenix Saga. Jean Grey is still understanding her powers. She has the green and yellow costume with the Phoenix on it. She hasn't gone to Dark Phoenix at this point. There's hints of it there, but her power is getting stronger and stronger. So the X-Men go because they have to go on not a rendezvous mission, but they detect mutants in the city. So the team kind of splits up-ish. So Kitty Pryde is also in this issue. Right. Yeah. So Cyclops goes to check out, and I can't remember. I'm not sure if he went with Wolverine or I'm not sure. I have to read the book again, but I know Cyclops is at the club scoping out to find out who is this new mutant, and then Jean shows up, and it's like, okay, Jean is like she almost had an awkward moment. So there was a lot going on, and Chris is such a great writer, Chris Claremont. So Scott's there. He's looking for the mutant. He knows she's within the building. They determine it's Dazzler, so he goes to talk to Dazzler. Jean shows up. Seems she has a jealousy fit. And then when he's trying to talk to Jean, she kind of brushed him off. You can see it, but he did really well in X-Men, the cartoon. She brushes him off because Mastermind has been playing games with her mind, trying to convince Jean that she's time jumping to get her under control, brainwashed to be part of the Brotherhood of, the Inner Circle from the Hellfire Club.
Hellfire, no, that's right. You're right, actually.
Yeah, with Sebastian Shaw. I know I've also said Brotherhood and Evil Mutants, but the Inner Circle Hellfire Club. So that's, Sebastian Shaw. Emma Frost at the time was with them before her, and so it's so many things. And at one point, they had these mandroids, so these like armored units. There were men inside these armored units that were supposed to be for S.H.I.E.L.D., but because Sebastian Shaw is also a weapons manufacturer, he had his own version of what Tony Stark did, gave it to his agents, and they kidnapped part of the X-Men. And Kitty ends up saving them, Kitty Pryde. And she stole news. So all this was a lot happening within, issue 130, 131, around that time. And they turn around and make an offer saying, hey, we know you're a mutant. Do you want to join the team? She's like, nope, I'm good. Yeah, but you'll get hunted down. Hey, I can handle myself. I'm good. I don't want to get into this mutant superhero stuff. My passion is music. I'm doing that right now. I know I have powers. Thank you. Keep my secret, and I'll keep yours, and we'll walk away and call it a day.
Mm-hmm.
That was their first run-in with Dazzler. That's how it kind of essentially played out. Now, going forward during the Mutant Massacre, she's a key person in that, and there's like really major stories with Dazzler that there's like so much to cover. You just have to read, follow the main X-Men books. See, at one point, X-Men thought they were dead, and then he came back to life, and then they were living in Australia at one point, and she was a part of the team, so she changed her style. So she cut her hair, made it very short. She wore like blue tights with a kind of like little stars, not stars, but like little designs on them that look like light stars or something along those lines. And she wore a brown jacket. Now, here's my favorite. That's one of leading up to my favorite parts in this storyline. So during her time with the X-Men, she's on and off with the X-Men. She's joined other groups like Excalibur, the Gladiators, so forth, X-Factor. But she turns around and, she's with S.H.I.E.L.D., the 198, yada, yada, yada. She's always been around. Heralds of Galactus. So when it gets really interesting is now she's starting to use her powers a little bit more. Now, during one of the X-Men run-ins when she's with the X-Men, they do fight the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants. This is when Rogue was a villain with Mystique, Destiny, Blob, exactly, Pyro, Avalanche, like that team of Brotherhood of Evil Mutants. And the X-Men fought them. So, not feeling certain people, like Rogue. Then, of course, Rogue joins the X-Men. And now you have Rogue and Dazzler on the X-Men. Dazzler still has ill feelings towards her from when she was, when Rogue was part of the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants. That version with it with Mystique's. Not feeling her. But then we bring in a person here. And I'm going to bring, I got to say this one right because this one's for my boy Kevin. Kevin, this one's for you. They bring in one of Kevin's favorite characters. There's Thief Par Chance, which is Gambit. Kevin always loves saying that. And then there's the other one, Longshot. That one's for you, Kevin. All right. And they bring in Longshot. So Longshot had his own miniseries. We'll have to dive into Longshot, another time. But the importance of Longshot in this is now Longshot shows up. He comes from the Mojo world. He gets there with the X-Men. And so we'll explain this in detail another time because we're really focusing on Dazzler. And all of a sudden, the ladies find him cute. So Rogue finds Longshot cute. Dazzler finds Longshot cute. And it seems that, and he's not flirting with one or the other. He's just being polite to both. But they're still trying to get his feelings because they're up in their feels with this guy. So, now Dazzler didn't like Rogue because she came from the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants. And now, even more so, because she's crushing on the guy that she's crushing on. Drama, drama, drama. Drama, drama, drama. Drama, drama, drama. Yeah. Let's kick this. Okay, I'm good. So now there's where it comes into. So when I say this is one of my favorite parts of the storyline because it's always the little nuances, the little things that I love when it comes to these things. And I was hoping they were going to do it, and then they didn't do it. And I was still going to talk about it my way. So we know that eventually Longshot, Dazzler have a relationship with all the three-way potential. Rogue in there, Rogue not, okay, finally realizing that Alison likes him. That was the case, but then he likes her back. They start dating. Okay, Rogue backs off, even though she'll flirt with him just to piss Alison off. So that's their little rivalry. It's almost like Betty Veronica and Archie Andrews. Okay, they have their relationship, and it goes on. And then during this relationship, at one point, Alison gets taken. She gets amnesia. Then she gets her memory back.
Yep.
And then she sees Longshot because Longshot got taken. He goes back to Mojo World and he comes back and she remembers him, but he doesn't remember her because now he has amnesia. And then he gets his memory back. This is what it is. It's a soap opera. We know it's a soap opera at this point. But the key point about this is, let's jump forward a couple of years, shall we? Writers change. Artists change. Comic books and storylines have to change. It's evolution. It's progression. And it got into this one point, and it teased us fans for a long time, and then they totally wrecked it. And for me, it should have stayed that way. So we bring in Rob Liefeld, starts doing New Mutants, right? And he brings in Deadpool, I think in New Mutants number 97. Brings in, Cable is in there before that. The Xavier is gone. The mansion's destroyed, so they're living underground because the mansion has an upper level and it has a below ground level, like a whole bunker. That's where their danger room is at. The Blackbird is being kept. The plane the X-Men use and all that. None over there. They're staying there, as their base of operations. He's training the New Mutants to go from New Mutants to be X-Force. Mm-hmm. And X-Force, you bring in another character from Mojo World. That's what they were saying at the time. And it was Shatterstar. Right. And Shatterstar always kind of somewhat alluded, never fully concrete, that, my parents, they were X-Men. And it seemed that, how it was written, that his parents should have been Longshot and Dazzler. He looked like Longshot.
Yep.
Right? Longshot only has 4 fingers, not 5. Only has 4 toes, not 5. That's the difference, right? So he's got a thumb and 3 fingers, almost like a Simpsons character. Right. Hollow bones make him very light and flex and agile. He's got that. Mm-hmm. He's got more of a warrior spirit. He's got the warrior spirit like Longshot, but he's more serious. Longshot was more, at times, playful, whimsical, lighthearted. Yeah. And Shatterstar is all about being a warrior. But the other part of it is Shatterstar had power over light. He would take sound and be able to focus that out of his body and shoot a laser through his weapons to channel it, or his hands. He just didn't use it often because he didn't see it as a honorable way to fight. Now, if you look at Longshot, you get it. You look at Dazzler, like that she had light powers, right. And they always seem to do it. And there's even a panel where it showed kind of Dazzler a little bit older and Longshot a little bit older in one of the issues, and you see Shatterstar in the distance, and they're kind of looking and smiling at him. So I'm like, this is awesome. And then for some reason, they made the decision to change all of that. They made Shatterstar, he wasn't from Mojo World, he was just someone from Earth, and his spirit got transported somewhere and he got reincarnated. It's not Dazzler and Longshot's kid. I'm like, come on, because time passed differently in Mojo World.
We were right there. We were right there.
Right.
It was literally right there.
We were right there. Marvel, this is why we get stuff like Emma Frost is marrying Tony Stark. Like, really?
Yeah.
This is stuff where you turn around and I'm going to rant for half a second here. You turn around and you kill off Miss Marvel, Kamala Harris. You kill her off in one issue, make a big deal about it. But in the wedding issue that's coming out, in the promo art of Tony Stark marrying Emma Frost, if you look at Stinger's shoulder, who's sitting on her shoulder? Kamala Harris, Miss Marvel. Okay. Y'all need an editor-in-chief that's going to align all this like how it used to be old school. So this is what got me. And now that is where I'm going to say I like this. So Dazzler started off as a tail end of the music industry, working with Casablanca. It went back and forth. The reason that Marvel got more control is because Casablanca went bankrupt, so Marvel was able to take full control of this character and finally give her some direction. And they put her in there. Now, before we keep going on, we'll talk about some of her powers, right? Yeah. So she has the ability to convert sound into light in various forms of intensity. Light energy granting flight, invisibility, hologram generation, light projection, ultraviolet light, sound release, light shield, light beam, polarizing eyes, preventing blindness and dazzlement from light, right? She's also a trained singer, actress, and dancer, so, she's being a triple threat, which is normal. And they said highly skilled athlete and hand-to-hand combat fighter. So I'm not sure about the hand-to-hand, but, she does hold her own. And highly accomplished roller skater. And then there's another one here they call electronician. Yeah. Okay. So she's got a lot of powers. Great. You've seen her use them in different various ways, and just not like even way more than Boom Boom from New Mutants. Boom Boom from New Mutants was just like, okay, makes a bomb, boom, okay, 1, 2, 3, whatever. So very cool. I love the relationship between her and Longshot. I think that should stand the test of time. Jessica had to kind of tease us with Gambit and Rogue. I think that would be the ultimate double date. And that's a miniseries that could happen. It'd be very funny and a lot of adventure, right? When you put all those four together. I mean, come on. Gambit, Rogue, Alison, Dazzler with Longshot. That there is a miniseries waiting to happen. Call it Road Trip or something. I don't care.
Yeah.
So she's got all this. And they had it to a point that because she could have been, the mother of Longshot. Shatterstar.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
in my head,
Shatterstar.
in my head, that's how I'm looking at it. I'm not looking at what they did after, because Shatterstar is one of the characters I like. We will talk about him. We go stick with what it is. So she started off with the music area. She dealt with other music characters within the Marvel universe, like Lila Shanley, who was, she'd be on Earth and she would teleport in outer space and then come back. And, she was a big rock singer, interplanetary rock singer, star.
Yep.
She, Alison just didn't, she did the X-Men thing. She actually walked away and wanted to go back to just a normal showbiz life, still pursuing it. So what we miss is maybe her using some of her, not so much street smarts, not so much her skills as an X-Men, but her skills in law. I think there's a natural progression for her to go two ways. One, be an entertainment lawyer. Right?
Right. Okay. Yeah.
Entertainment lawyer.
Yeah.
Or really let them flesh out that storyline with her and Longshot having a Ute, having Shatterstar. That's all I wanted to see. I didn't want to see how Marvel went off the rails with them. Sorry, I know I did a lot of talking there, Rod. What do you say?
No. Listen, that's not a bad idea coming from that aspect. Like with her, she also, with her powers, having the ability to radiate, like I said, just like a ball type as well. But she also learned and trained herself to be able to be very precision in the sense, like, imagining, she basically was able to, like, say, point with her finger, basically having like a fine-tuned type of precise type of directional shot, projectile, light beam. And again, she can make her lights as light, transparent, or as dense as actually physically feeling something, like feeling a hit. So
yes,
these are other things that, the other, abilities that she had. She also had the ability to, at one point, to make like holographic, projectile of herself, and just be doing like a Mirage from Transformer. Or watch this. She's also doing like, holographic type of projector, like Gem and the holograms.
Synergy. Truly outrageous. Truly. Wow.
Who knows if that was based off of Dazzler or not? I don't know. I just to say.
At one point, Gem was under Star Comics, which was a division of Marvel. Wow. Truly outrageous.
Truly outrageous. But these are the things that, that you can pull out from her. So I definitely like that she has these particular abilities. Again, the creative mindset of what you can do with someone who has a light-based type of power, her ability. I agree, and I'm happy, like you said earlier, that they initially wanted to have some type of truth serum, touching someone or enhancing someone to be able to speak the truth, like the lasso of truth. Like that would have been kind of like, honestly played out too early, too quick, too soon. But having the ability to do other things with light source, now we can start using her as a very unique individual and be able to just give her different type of, functionality and tasks and missions that she can do. I agree. Actually, it's a good point you brought out about her, seeing that if she would have gone that, if they had written her down the lane of being like, using her mind, as a lawyer, let's focus on that. Because my mind now is trying to think back and I'm thinking, okay, how many lawyers did they have, characters who are lawyers in the Marvel universe? There's Matt Murdock. There is Jennifer, why did I just went blank?
Walters.
She-Hulk. Yeah. Walters, thank you.
Right? And there are actual superheroes. Of course, there's Foggy Nelson, but yes.
Well, Foggy Nelson, but
Yeah, but
And
he's
when you
not a
say
superhero.
Foggy,
So if you have to go,
he's
I
not a
get what you're
superhero.
saying. Yeah.
But even then, even where like you're gonna pull him in as a lawyer, I put Foggy, I put him into the umbrella of Matt Murdock of
Yep.
Daredevil. But if you're gonna
Yep.
separate them, fine. 1, 2, 3. That's it. We could have, used another again, entertainer, lawyer, or she's focused on entertainment, but she also have the ability to do some criminal. Maybe it's not as high tense like Jennifer, or like Matt Murdock, but you know what? She could have been used for other type of, functionalities as well. But that would have been wonderful to give her. That is her, not her side hustle, but her main job is being a singer, entertainer. And on the days off when she's in between gigs and she's not producing whatever, she can do that, as well as being called the last minute, helping out the X-Men. She interacted with Spider-Man. Like you said, she started off interacting with Spider-Man. Basically well, not say all of, she interacted with the X-Men. But she was also, let me just see. I know I just saw it here earlier. Um, oh, I just,
Well, I know
okay,
there's a
The
miniseries,
Hulk,
right?
well, yeah, miniseries and so forth. But I mean, in the sense that she connect, interacted with Doctor Doom, Hulk, Quasar, Galactus, so she was literally one of those individuals again who's in the New York area, and she definitely interacted with other New York superheroes and individuals in her fair city. So she had meat on the bone. She connected with people. So I mean, that's
Yeah.
one thing about it. She wasn't like a one off that she just had her own IP and she just kind of like disappeared into the corner type of thing. You never heard of her and she never interacted with other people. People knew her. Other characters knew Dazzle, knew Alison Blair, and realized
Yes.
that how a phenomenal mutant that she was. Because if she didn't have, her powers weren't if her power was useless and not just be like that,
Mhm.
she wouldn't have the longevity that she has. She wouldn't have been interacting with other teams. Like she
No,
wouldn't
I thought
have
her
a
powers were
place.
more. Her powers are more than Jubilee, for example.
Yes, yes. You know what? You're right. I would definitely add her more functional. And
Yep.
it's no disrespect to Jubilee, but I would have her more functional than Jubilee. As I said, Jubilee, yes, would kind of spark, send off the kabooms and the explosions and
Fireworks
stuff
and
like
yeah.
that, the fireworks and stuff like that. Um, but having that ability to be more precise, you have a big concussion type of light blast to like flash bomb kind of scenario. Jubilee could probably do that, but having the ability, I'm going to take somebody out type of scenario, it's like there's different functionality, holograms. So I'm saying her powers gave her an edge over Jubilee, and I think it would be very. It just shows that powers could have been used in other aspects, more aspects than we even scratched the
Mhm.
surface on.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think there's a whole lot of stuff they missed, right? I mean, with like the whole
Mm-hmm.
entertainment lawyer thing, I think that would really be up in her personality and going that way. And in the storyline, you do come across what happens with her mom. She does meet her mom. At one point, there's a 4-issue miniseries where it's her and Beast from the X-Men that team up. And then Beast
Mm-hmm.
says, hey, you're going to play dead to kind of protect the identity of your mom. So how do you feel about joining X Factor at the time? She's like, X Factor, huh? So, which was the original X-Men. She's always there. And I think there's some stuff that was missed.
Right.
So, right, we will get down to it like usual. It's fan casting, it's adaptation time. So if you had to adapt Dazzler, how would you do it? What would you like to see?
I would like to see. My head is dipping in. Do I want an anime? Because at least not budget, but
Mm-hmm.
she'll have the ability to use her. We can broadcast her powers in a more understandable way, to me, then you can have the light show, you can have the CGI and everything like that you can't have right now. But I think we'll be able to utilize her powers and get more out of it if it was an animation or cartoon type of adaptation.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
That's how I would take it for her in that regard.
Right. Okay. I agree with you. All right. I see that. Yeah, that's a tough one.
It is because I mean, she like if we may not have mentioned it, and we'll get
Mhm.
to it. I mean, in regards to that, she's already been debuted
Yeah.
in a movie. She's already been debuted in a movie. Now,
Yes.
her scene wasn't that much, and it kind of was like,
It was
just kind of like,
X-Men First Class, right? I think it was.
no, our Dark Phoenix,
Dark Phoenix,
Dark
sorry,
Phoenix,
X-Men Dark Phoenix. Yes,
yeah,
so she's out in the
Dark
forest,
Phoenix.
and you see her in the white overalls. She's making lights and all that, and kind of singing, and
And
yeah,
that was it. I'm like, okay, I know we got a lot of mutant that you can dive into, whatever the case would be, but I would have wanted more. So I'm realizing what they did with her just for that was kind of like pixelated. Ooh, I'm like,
they
no,
didn't
you
understand the essence of the character. And once
100%.
again,
It
they
made
put
me
her in
feel
her,
more
yeah,
made
they put her in
her
her
original
original outfit and not one of a
disco.
time. So yeah,
Right. Well, that time was again, yeah, no, because that would have been early mid '80s, so it would have been still kind of late for that
yeah,
outfit.
yeah,
That
yeah.
outfit would have been still been a little bit late. But
Mm.
I mean, I got a Jubilee type of feel for that particular scene.
Yes,
So that's why I would want to have it more animated, so
I
we can
gotcha.
get a fuller, we can get into a fuller blossom of what she's capable of, and then people won't have to worry like, do we have the budget to do what we really want to do with her? Draw it in. Okay, now you can go in. Okay, let's do some proper research. What can she do? What can Light do? And then start going from there.
Okay, right. All right, I hear you. See, and that's where I struggled with because I came up with two streams of thought.
Mm-hmm.
Do I want to have something, a series that's going to follow her really from her original tale up to now?
Mm-hmm.
Or do I want her more now and then have like flashbacks and maybe,
Right.
go back that way? So
Mm-hmm.
no matter what, I would say, I know you're saying cartoon. I would go with a normal TV series,
Okay.
right? A normal TV series, even if it's done by Disney, obviously it's got to be done by Disney because it's under Marvel, right? But I mean, a normal
Mm-hmm.
TV series, and I'll say my points real quick here because you have the things that a series would be based off of. So we have mystery with the parents splitting up and her not knowing about her mom for years, being raised by a single dad. This will go right
Mm-hmm.
now. That story will happen right now on TV, no problem, and the drama will go about it. So
Right.
that happening, growing up, group of friends, teenagers, school, sneaking out, the whole singing aspect,
Mm-hmm.
and key moments like that, right? And I don't think you have to follow it exactly from day one. So this is, for me, I would take a series, do her more now, and have it with flashbacks to show key moments, you
Right.
know, with me actor. And I think I'm leaning that way towards it. So give me a regular TV series because you have the family drama, you have the family dynamic. So you have her mom, you have her dad. We know her dad's around at the beginning. You can bring her mom also into and show the strained relationship between her parents and her in the
Right.
middle. A little bit older now because she understands everyone's there. Followed that her mom has to be under kind of a witness protection program. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
I'm with that. She can mention the X-Men, but not like allude to them, mention them.
Right.
The person that would need to be casted, in my opinion, would be Longshot. So yeah, let me give now and go with it, and then see. Okay, well look, and then do flashbacks. Do flashbacks because to put her in a series right now at the beginning and to put her in a white outfit and roller skates, it's going to
No.
be it's
Yeah.
a Wonder Years kind of thing. It's not going to hold the same thing in my opinion. You got to make her now and then do the flashback of her in the white outfit and roller skates.
100%. 100%.
Uh, Still have her doing that, and then I would say lean into a little bit more of her law school mentality, right?
100%.
That's a whole world right there where she can crisscross with people of the X-Men or outside the X-Men. And I would say the only other person you would have to really cast would be whoever would be Longshot and have them come in, like, on certain episodes because Longshot's in Mojo world and he's in our world and he goes back and forth and she goes back there. So the whole story would be, for me, start here in the real world.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, she, of Longshot, goes back and forth. Maybe she doesn't want to be divorced. Okay, she's with child. I'm going with a classic idea that she's with child at one point, but then she ends up. So the season one can be her, and key points of her career, talking about it, going through, still dealing with those adventures. Time she teams up with certain X-Men. It's not gonna be the big ones, maybe some of the smaller ones. Like Pixie, who shows up at one point, even though she's in the movie, you can bring her in there because she'll do that. Show her in the music industry. show her starting her relationship again with Longshot, because go through the point where he had amnesia and they started a relationship up again. And you can bring in Mojo World. You can bring her being taken to Mojo World, or she's going to Mojo World to get back Longshot because he was supposed to come back, didn't make it. And that's a whole rebellion that's happening in Mojo World. So she's starting to help with that. They rekindle their relationship. So it could be like 3 seasons, easy, and end it with, her Longshot together. And this time, really, Marvel, let's get on top of it. Let her be the biological mother of Shatterstar. I know they killed him off in Deadpool movie, but multiple universes. Anyways, let it be Shatterstar, and let Shatterstar come in there, and let Shatterstar be, his biological parents is Longshot and Dazzler. I think with the family aspect, the family drama aspect, it'd be more family-ish, what's going on and living life day to day with superpowers, as opposed to being a superhero. And so this way, it's not a traditional superhero show. You're going to have, her dad, her mom, Longshot, relationships, friends, people like her, don't like her. In the industry, she's trying to make it as a singer. She didn't ever hit that level. So how does she deal with never making it to the top level that she has a talent to be? Not everybody makes it. So what does she do in the meantime? She's still going to pursue the dream, but then she's got to put food on the table. So she's going to be a starving artist, or she's going to work and do that, and then maybe lean on that and then crisscross. So that's the way I see it. I think it can go for a couple of seasons live action. So yeah, I'm with that one. Yeah, that's how I'm seeing it.
Okay, right. Sounds good. So,
thank you.
So who I would have cast?
Fantastic. Hit me with it.
So, like I said, I was in between. Now I'm gonna still have the same person. Now we could have this person animated to look like this person. That'd be great. If we do, if we ever had to go a live one or live series, whatever, I'll still have the same person. So who I wanted with Catherine McNamara. Catherine McNamara. You would know her from a couple of stuff. She was in Maze Runner, Death Cure. She was in Shadowhunters. Immortal. But mainly, I know her from the Arrow universe. She was Maya Smoke, aka Green Arrow, and Felicia, daughter, the last Green Arrow.
Yes.
She has the ability. Again, these are I've already just shown you like three different IPs that she deals with, and all action based. So we know that she's a mutant with light powers and everything like that, but she's a warrior. She's on a fighting team. She's on an X-Men team. She's interacting with Spider-Man. So I need someone who has the ability to show me athleticism, who can, keep up and, be in the crossfire, be able to work, be able to fight and be able to handle themselves. This is what I want. Now, again, we've seen Catherine, handle herself in those shows, especially in Arrow, easily taking down individuals with not even a breath of I'm out of breath.
Not even a drop of sweat.
Not even a drop of sweat.
Wow.
So yes, I would go with Catherine McNamara as my Alison Blair.
Okay.
AKA Dazzler.
I like that.
Because this is where that's why it got hard for me to say, do I want a live action? Because with her, if we were to get her, then maybe I would toggle to a show, not a movie, but to at least a series, because we know if once people recognize who she is, realize that she's doing a live adaptation, that would get people to come in, because I know she had a good following, she had a good fan base, especially off of Arrow. So this is nearly, not even saying a no-brainer, but you definitely have an actor who can just come in and people will recognize it, like, oh, I can see that. Clearly, I can see that together.
All right. I like that. All right. That's nice. That's nice. See, so here's where I struggle. I had 2 people. Now I said if I had to do the series from the very beginning, if you want to do it from her first appearance and all the way up, and they do it like a retro series and bring her up in time, that's one thing. And I had one actress in my head. And and the more I think of it, I want to catch her more in the tail end of her career, because if you had to do it from the beginning, we're not going to get all those other the permission to use all those other IP. You're not going to see
Right.
the full X-Men walk in there and have speaking roles. That would have to be in a movie, and it would be more of an X-Men movie than a Dazzler TV show or movie or anything like that. So that being said, I'm going to keep that other person for another time for something else. I'm going with Jenny McCarthy from The Masked Singer. She dated, blonde hair Jenny McCarthy. She's a little bit older. Don't matter. She's in great shape. If you watch the cast of The Masked Singer, she's there. She's going out with Donnie Wahlberg, or married to Donnie Wahlberg. She used to go out with Jim Carrey. She was a Playboy model. She's
okay.
Yeah. So here's my thing about it. Her being, the age she is not because of the age, but she does she will remember disco. She is big into music. She's got she's in great shape. She has a great timing, wit, and smart. Maybe people agree with her views and don't agree with her views. I'm not debating that, but she has written books on autism. She learns something, she gets into it, and she's passionate about it. So I like what she'll bring. Now, am I trying to make it a comedy? No, I want to see her tackle something a little bit more serious, and I know she can do it. It's not I think she can do it. I know she can do it and do a serious role. She will have her humor moments where, if she had to go and put on, something happens, she's trying to put on one of her costumes, and she can't find her current costume, the blue with the brown jacket, and she has to throw on, the disco, the white outfit with the roller skates. She would still pull it off and kind of play it tongue in cheek, and then still go up there and do the scene. So that's who I'm going with, is Jenny McCarthy to play Alison Blair.
Okay.
I'm not sure if she's in. I think she roller skates also, but once again, she's huge into music because of The Masked Singer. She knows musicians. Obviously, I mean, look, she's married to a musician. So she understands the life very well. And with her knowledge of the disco era, pop music today, singers, and having that, and being smart also. And of course, let's be real, he's got to be a little bit of sex appeal also as a performer or singer, right? She embodies all of that. I think she embodies all of that well. No pun intended. So that's who I'm going with. I'm going with Jenny McCarthy.
Okay.
Yep.
Sounds good. Sounds good.
Yep. And that would bring it into the whole, okay, and she can play, obviously she can play younger because she doesn't even look her age. So she can play younger. And the whole Longshot thing, Shatterstar, yeah, I think that leads into it. And we know time goes by different in Mojo world than it does here on our world. So all of that does add to my credence there for that.
Okay.
Sweet.
Okay. Sounds good.
Got you, Jenny. Right on. Well, brings us to that time of the show. So, Rod, any last words before we wrap it up?
You know what? All I'm going to say is Dazzler is a unique character. She is one that we're happy to have seen on the big screen, but we didn't get a lot of her. We didn't give not even a scratch of what she can do. And now we can have the opportunity to look into this character and realize that how unique she is and how influential she is that she basically was created out of the era of a movement of a time of disco, back in the 70s, the late 70s, and how she was grown from there to being interactive with other characters in the Marvel universe. That, yeah, I believe she does have an opportunity to put her stamp in the canon and make herself known and be utilized at some point within there, that you may not realize you may need an individual with light-based powers.
Yeah.
But if she's already canon in there, she's interacted with all of them. At some point, it wouldn't be too far-fetched. But once the X-Men are coming into play, she could be called upon. Nick Fury, S.H.I.E.L.D. She had to interact with S.H.I.E.L.D. at one time before. So she's worked with S.H.I.E.L.D. So again, it wouldn't be far-fetched that Nick knows of her and her abilities. And You think you're the only light-bearing person in this universe? You know, kind of halfway subcoding the first time he spoke to Tony Stark. Yeah, this is it. We can utilize her at some point. So yeah, I think that's how I would look at it.
Yeah, I agree with you. You know, this is why we thought this show to bring light on some of the other characters that might not get a light on, right? So in the X-Men movie, you know, she's just in the background. That's it. That's all we're gonna get. But can she do her own? Well, clearly the books believe she could do her own. She's had her own book for a while. She's led her own book for a while, and she can do it again. If she can do it on paper, she can do it on screen. There we go. So that being said, thank you everyone for tuning in once again on another episode of the Iconist podcast. We really appreciate everybody out there. You know, and thank you for liking our videos, supporting the channel, doing all that you do, and we keep doing it and coming back all the time, week after week. Remember, please like, subscribe, share, review, let your friends know about the show. Don't let the show be a secret. And as we always say, this whole world was started with a pencil, a piece of paper, and lots of imagination. Keep on dreaming. We out. Now I just gotta find my disco ball. Light break. Light break. Light break. Light break.
Light break. Light break. Light break.
You know, bring back 45s, 12 inches, and a Sony Walkman. There we go. Take care, everyone.
Later.